Hello everyone to this very fast-paced intro to this Roulette Rivals 16 match between ChrisX3 and Dein Nomos. This is one of the final matches of Swiss round 4 and one of the most exciting ones as well. We are going to see two of the three O players facing off against each other, and to be exact I can tell you that we have had Scruffy beating I Like Hitman and Reaper beating Moo, and this will decide who will be the third and final player with 4 points out of 4 rounds. Basically 100% guaranteeing themselves in the knockout stage and possibly with a very good spin. We will see this best of 5 match starting in Marrakesh, chosen by ChrisX3. Then we have Santa Fortuna chosen by Dein Nomos, and I am sure I will be able to figure out the RNG maps when we get there. We have the first spin here, Razor Zaydan, Explosion Accident as local printing crew, and Klaus Hugo Strandberg Silent Sniper Rifle as a consulate intern, as the consulate intern, Steve himself. Let me just get the sound sorted. That seems too high, but maybe something like this. And we'll see, of course, after no forecaster, I can turn that one off. And now we are off and running, Chris, with a very quick free plan. Sorry, first plan rather. And it seems not a huge surprise there that he's going for definitely Razor Matic and then probably going into Klaus Honeycomb. Almost sure that he picked up the safe keys as well. Chris, one of the best Marrakesh players and one of the biggest advocates for Emetic slash Honeycomb. It doesn't feel obvious at the first sight why we do this with these two disguises, but Reza being a remote kill and his ability to basically catch any other disguise in the first 2 minutes makes me feel confident in his strat choice. Dean is doing the strat that I would choose, probably just blocking down, and starting with the intern, because I don't see any quick lockdown opportunities, and no banana advocate for Dane. You just grab the intern at the 1 minute mark and easily make the 230 Klaus ISO into local printing crew, and possibly a 6 or 7 minute first try. You can mostly expect Dane first try almost any given spin, so that's what you are going to be facing up against. But Chris has this, well, great approach to just make it happen with most disguises for Honeycomb, and especially with Consulate Intern with the help of this flash phone. Speaking of big advocates for certain things, Chris is one of the best flash phone players. It seems that the NPC didn't get on the hook, it was someone else instead. Second try here, you can hear confusion on the intern side, and the chain begins, and hopefully the chain will conclude in this secluded corner. And that's what's going to happen. Chris will secure this first disguise. Local printing crew also sort of a detour away, but that's for later for him to worry about. Yes, Dane has reached the spot where everyone does the body shot, and I was a bit scared at first because of a potential headshot. Now I was scared because of the order of the direction he took the way to the key and the key card. It seems that Dane keeps ping guns and he'll be able to get this first kill in about 20 to 25 seconds. Quicker than Chris, but not by a whole lot. 235 now on the left side as well, and we are approaching that position where you can get that first kill down. With the intern taking just a bit longer for Chris, I don't think he has the time to grab the agency pickup and kill Klaus live, but luckily it's not an anti-KO spin. You can just, especially with a distraction throw, and I wonder if any sort of conversations get triggered, but no, it's gonna be a bump and a KO and the first kill down on Dane and the first isolation down on Chris, who will now grab not just a sniper rifle, but as Joker said, the propane flask as well, with at least one remote, probably reaching charge, but taser also works for Chris, but one remote item in hand, you know, he can make that second kill very much foolproof. There's a shot on Chris's side, no need for a briefcase, just propane flask. And it's on the tip of my tongue, but I think it's under 20 or 30 seconds till Razor stops puking, so should work out very fine to grab this first ISO. Frame drops on Chris's, and I need to end this conversation quickly But I think one drop should end it. I guess this is how the drop will end this competition, and they instantly turn around. Just a couple more seconds, and that's Razor stopping the puking, but his corner still works out barely, but still fine for Chris. Still well on course to finish earlier than Dane. Especially with this map choice, it was always about whether Chris can produce a faster first try than Dane's almost certain first try, which is on the more consistent side instead of choosing the fastest strat. So now it's, well, 4 in the hand for Chris, so we won't dilly-dally with any sedative items. It will just be one chain, maybe? I don't remember. Well, Chris used the Seekers through darts, so I doubt that Chris has any sedative guns or tranks remaining, so it will have to be a phone. Curious to see how this will work out. Question mark 1 starts the chain, and as long as you're not seen, then you should be good to get this chain going. Local printing queue should hear it. Yes, he's going for the new location. One more location. And the last one in a very secluded area. Should almost hear it through the closed door, but obviously not the case. Just gonna wait it out and close the door and wait an extra half second, and Chris now acquires a local printing crew no one else gets with the usage of the flash phone. Dane has done completely the meta, the baseline setup here, and has made it to the school as well. And good choice, or good point by Scruffy that the drive-by could have made it so much quicker. I noticed you have enforcers downstairs as well. I'm not sure, maybe it's just Vader, which is a bit difficult to traverse, but you are just passing up here, so it will be a remote setup. And good choice by Joker, our backup admin, to call this one early, because this would have been a 40 to 50 second ChrisX3 win. Well outside the photo finish range, so Chris takes the first 2 points. Quickly checking if any updates have happened. Yanni misread the time, but he took over right away at 0 past 0, so Yanni has taken over exactly, as Joker is saying in the chat, so thank you for your service for sending the one spin, but also to get this match going at the right time. Chris has found a cheat code, and I don't mean the phone usage or the strat usage. He's listening to music during the match, and his anxiety is much better. I know Chris was one of the players who I don't want to say he had like nerve issues, because he never really looked like, but I know he gets nervous before matches, and he hasn't played for a while, so I see him back on the scene, returning after 3 years, I think, for RWC24, losing in the quarterfinals to future runner-up Music Inc. And I think, yeah, Dane lost in the round of 16, right? And now I'm not sure. No, I think Dane also made it to the... Now I gotta check. He lost to Reaper, but I don't know if it's round of 16 or the round of 8. Let me see. Okay, no one spoiled the results, so I can just check. Dane defeated Crescent in the round of 16 and then lost to Reaper in the quarters. So 2 very even players at the top of the leaderboard after 3 rounds. And of course, someone will be even further up after this win, potentially a win, putting them at 4 out of 4 points. Is the fact that I can see the other match above chat something done by you, or I did that by accident? Either way, it's pretty sweet. I do not know what's... I did nothing, but I will take all the praise by Paraplu if it enriches your experience. Second spin is here. Rico Delgado, Injected Poison Submarine Crew, Jorge Franco, Loud Sniper Rifle Drug Lab Worker, Andrea Martinez, Electrocutionist Coca Field Worker. And just, yeah, to say it once more, Yanni is the match admin now. Thank you for admitting this. If only you had arrived a bit earlier, then I would have liked to ask for you a co-cast, but some other time. And we have the second spin here, of course. Well, I think Andrea Remote makes this so much easier because this keeps so many strats and starts rather open. Submarine Cave was my first thought as well, because you can then end in the Jug Lab with the worker plus the Jug Lab worker with plus the Coca Field worker double kills. You can get this Rico kill sort of early. I don't know off the top of my head if you really have a lot of time, but I think you have plenty of time to just get this poke after opening the secret door. So following that you can still make it to Andrea. Or you can just leave things as they are and go for Andrea, get the first isolation and then go back and kill Rico live. I'm pretty sure the early kill would be beneficial here. You just don't have to worry about Rico anymore. I do not know what the Vulcat ISO means, and I feel fortunate in my ignorance. But if anyone in chat can help enlighten us, as I clear my throat for 1 second. So with the approach Dane is using, he should still have plenty of time to get to Andrea at the 2.5 minute mark, as Chris barely but gets the Rico pistol distraction, and I feel like it's very likely. He's changing his mind, doesn't feel like he has enough time to get the kill and then go for Andrea. Chris will make it safe and just do the whole isolation picker. Dane is going the long way around to the point where I'm not even sure if he wants to get Andrea second. I see. It will be just his second kill, loud snipe, and then change into Coca Field Worker and probably beat Andrea to the compound second cycle, but doesn't feel too difficult. But that's exclamation mark in combat, yes, because the second shot was a double through the lens and through the camera for a total of 3 shots. And as calm I am explaining it, it is a really unfortunate thing to do, and they really couldn't have anticipated this one. So now it's a ChrisX3 lead with the changing of the mind. I don't think he's 100% comfortable with this approach anymore, and it does feel like Dane's starting with Rico is faster, but I couldn't tell you if it's a minute 30 seconds faster. Thinking about it a bit more, I do want to kill for his second and get the Coca Field Worker and then go to Andrea. You can possibly go to the cartel compound at the 4.5 to 5 minute mark, and if you beat her, then it's a quick peekaboo to a third and final kill. Definitely easier to say than done, and a lot can go wrong, of course, in basically any of the Santa Fortuna spins. Dane is approaching this Rico kill for the second time, and Chris has so he has made it remote. The socket wasn't necessary to turn on, but everything else was done correctly. As I completely blanked when the remaining 2 matchup updates came, so I assume, no, I don't want to assume, I'm just gonna look up the score, which everyone else could read, and I missed. Alf wins 6-2 against David Jackstocks to score his second point, I think. Could be his third one. I'm gonna look away like the bad caster I am. Yes, Alf will be on 3 points now and Jackstocks on 2 after 4 rounds. So with Chris setting up the Andrea kill and Dane going to get this second kill, first time shot works for Dane. It's huge news for him, as Chris is waiting agonizingly for Rico to walk down the stairs and die, which did happen. And now he's off to the coca field as well with 1 kill and a setup down. Welcome everyone from Gleebach, both the caster and the raiders, and especially the Time Cube who has finished his first match admin today. Looks like it went smooth, so glad to hear.
What was that?
No cameras for Chris anymore. I'm not 100% sure about Dane, but he's past the toughest part yet. Gonna grab the drug lab worker and biding his time until Jorge reaches the good half of his cycle, where he's just a 1 emetic shot away instead of the 2 on this side. Well, that is if you don't. That is if you are partial between the 2 toilet spots. Some people just have no fear and can isolate Jorge wherever they want. Although for a loud kill, I think you want to be as safe as possible. Yellow on Chris's side and red guns scared me a little, but it's only an area that is being investigated while Andrea is down. He's the one unconscious witness on Chris's end. And with the subdue down, both have the correct disguise for the Jorge kill. Dane has made the emetic shot on Jorge. Luckily it's a kill where you can KO. So I assume, well, I think the way I would do it is I try to secure coca field worker. I mean, it's tough because you're gonna panic the whole coca field if you take someone from nearby. And Dane has a nice opportunity to grab this disguise, but he won't. I think that Mea could have been a perfect candidate to hide, as Chris goes a bit too long on the bushes and turns the entire cookfield orange. That's gonna be really tough. It was a great question whether Chris could carry his in-game time lead to a win, because his strat did feel slightly a bit slower, but especially with Andrea already set up, I think he was close to finishing and winning the map, but looks like Dane with 2 kills down and grabbing this last disguise from further away. Not sure where exactly though. Is this the moment? No. I was gonna say, is this the moment when Dane turns around in panic to grab his final disguise, but no. It's gonna be a solid screwdriver throw at the back, and I thought a guard was called in, but luckily it's a worker that's coming. And I have never done this grab, and I'm surprised that no one hears the subdue even, but with Dane dragging him all the way to this other corner, I think it's as safe as possible. Ooh, and Chris misses this bullet distraction on Rico. Of course, we can see that it's not crucial for this spin, because Dane has this big advantage. But it's obviously frustrating when you can't get going. It's a common issue with Santa Fortuna that it's really difficult to get going sometimes. Some people have soft lockdown issues with Rico not locking down in the correct place. Some people have difficulties with the bridge ISOs, especially with the Seeker. But this one is also pretty finicky, and we've seen quite a few Chris restarts to the Enforcer. Damn, though it's, I don't want to say unique copy, but it seems difficult for Chris. Lots of issues there, and of course he's using almost the correct timing or almost the correct placement, so it should kind of work there. So, obviously I was too optimistic, thinking that you could be back here by 5 minutes. It's 6.5 a day in, but as long as it's the second time that Andrea is in the Cartla compound, I don't think there should be any issues with Andrea drinking right now. Should be a few seconds earlier, I guess, according to the consume poison notes, but should all be perfect for just to wait until she comes down and to do this itemless electrocution kill to tie this match up at 2-2. As much as I don't like to jinx, there are some times when there's one kill to go and you can't really see where it can go wrong. Timefield says that the roaming guards can find the body. I assume that that's meant that the coca field worker, which Dane dirty KO'd, which is a single regular KO, nothing is sedative. You can always count on the possibility to do something like that to happen, but chances of that are pretty low. One KO or Dane. Second one, a throw to make it safe. And now this 3-step plan, I guess, to work this electrocution kill. I do not remember which order you need to do this in if you have the screwdriver, but Dane has the pistol. 2 steps correct. I don't see any enforcer dots outside. So nothing delayed, nothing illegal. Dane is roaming to that exit with both players taking their own map picks. And we are going to the RNG maps with a score of 2-2. And with the finish now official, and I'm sure the score will be as well, as I will refresh the players in a couple of seconds. Important news is that every player who is on their 4th match now has lost 1 map. Chris was the last one of the bunch to be perfect. Of course, he can still go 4 out of 4, but Reaper and Scruffy both lost a couple maps. Reaper is 3 maps down, but never reached the 6-4 result. He's always 6-2, 6-2, 6-2, and 6-0. And Scruffy has lost 2 maps thus far after 3 sweeps. Narrow beating Island Hitman 6-4. I guess for completionist's sake, I have to say that I haven't lost a map, but I also ran away from the fight. I have only played 3 matches. Ooh, Quatty says that it's the 4th Dartmoor today. It must be a national holiday in Jokertown. Not a... Well, it's a change of pace after Marrakesh and Santa Fortuna, and Dane will remember to not uncrouch in that specific spot for the next 5 minutes. It doesn't matter what you do afterward. At least for this map. If it's a gardener spin, you just have to be careful. So any updates from the chat? I will kind of stay in this bubble. I'll try not to talk about the grand scheme of things. I know there are 2 more matches happening, I think, in this round, so we are close to the end of Swiss round 4. But Chris says he would not have thought you could get insta-spotted from that range. Oh, well, by insta-spot... Sorry, by range, I guess Chris means that the range between Jorge and his guards. Yeah. And that was pretty close. The whoosh bar filled very quickly for Chris. Quicker than I anticipated. Don't want to say that was ultimately the thing that made the difference, but Chris was really close to finishing, and now Dane has the map. High FPS problems, says Rupen. I can definitely see that, because it's not something I have problems with, and I think I'm 60 FPS at the maximum, and Chris is a much better PC than I am.
The famous private investigator hired by Madame Carlyle this morning.
Oh, and of course there was the gun pointed, which Guerrero said well. Well, Chris will have to move past this one, as Dane did move past the Marrakesh loss, and now we are going to Dartmoor, the first of the 3 RNG maps, and I can type the correct URL, then I can tell you that the remaining random maps will be Haven Island number 4 and the Whittleton Creek number 5, so the match will not be decided in Dartmoor. It can be decided in Haven, but hopefully and most likely it will go down to Whittleton Creek's map 5, but until then we will have to endure one hopefully quick Dartmoor. No images, yes images, Alexa Carlyle, fall as mentioned stuff, and I did not refresh the players, so I will not do that now, but I'm sure it will be sort of easy to follow. It's one of the, well, if you are inside, it's usually PI start, but if you have mission staff, there's a very good argument to just start staff there. And that's what Dane did. I didn't see the replans, but if you have the time, you can probably swap in a second Chang just to make it safer. But one Chang and its 2 darts will also do the job. And Dane moves past the briefcase, but moves back in there. Chris will move past the briefcase, but make it back there. So far it's identical gaming with a couple second Dane lead. And Chris will not attempt the fast fall. I don't even know how much faster it is, if it is. But Dane will look towards the hallway. And 3 silent attacks will get the job done for Dein Nomos. And a grueling, or what it feels like it's grueling drag for Dane. Should get this first kill down. People say that this could be risky, and I know the other side is risky. Mr. Nomos keeps green guns, and after that he will not go for the case file. A couple of enforcers to dodge as we go back to Chris, who will do the office kill and isolation with all of the 4 guards down and the case file all but secured. Not officially secured, but of course it's a non-issue. Chris will get this first kill, and I think that just the problem is that you cannot drop from here anymore, not legally. So Dane is a lot closer to finishing. Just needs to hit one more Chang shot, obviously not an easy feat to do, or not a trivial feat to do, if not hard. All the bodies are found on Dane's side, should be fine, unless someone goes upstairs of course, but that's the final token secured. One enforcer to lay the dodge, that huge whoosh because of the wall hack, but Dane gets through, and Chris will get orange anyway. I wasn't even sure what the guard was chanked for. Was there an enforcer that I missed, but Chris was definitely farther away from the finish. Was gonna be a Dane win either way. So now it is Haven Island map 4. Of course it's a hallway spin, says Chris. It is kinda narrow, and it is, I think it is the most niche of the 4 mainline strats. You can do the fast forward, the most disguised is you start PI emetics, I guess, for a certain half, especially if it's a moderately hard melee item. There's the office, which I don't really know, apart from a few lawyer spins that you want to get the office skill, but it's good to have. And the final one is the hallway ISO, which is like a weird mix between, like, it's the fastest kill, but then do you go for the case file or the tokens? Still no first finish. We do have both extremes today, the shortest map as well as the couple of the longest ones, to be exact, because I think after all this time Santa Fortuna is still the longest map with the longest average IGT and real time. I think Berlin is the second, even though people have been gaming the map very, very nicely. And I imagine Haven is number 3 or number 4 with Mumbai. I don't think I can find it very quickly. rstats.currymaker.net, obviously. If I go spins and I go Santa Fortuna and I go statistics, then the page freezes. But now something has loaded in. Santa Fortuna's average spin time from the last year is 40 minutes and 6 seconds. Haven Island's average spin time is 13 minutes and 12 seconds. Surely Berlin is lower, right? Surely Berlin is faster. Yeah, Berlin is 12:24. And just out of curiosity, I'm gonna check Mumbai. It takes a while to load. But Mumbai is a 15-minute map, so I guess Mumbai is the longest map. And not gonna check Colorado, that is a lot faster. Lajo has a very good point about the both extremes being measured in the map record, and we do have one of the longest map records here at 521. Will it change today? Well, not with this spin, because it's Tyson Williams. He always Pirate Saber as a Villegard. Stephen Bradley, no target specification, shotgun as the boat captain. And Ludmilla will throw a consume poison as the butler. That is, well, without a loud kill condition, this is probably as bad as it can get. Even though the Tyson kill is something that you should probably force as first. I mean, it's difficult. Since you definitely want to get the butler at a reasonable time. You want to isolate. Well, you can't isolate Steven, but you want to kill him in the first 4 minutes. And Apricop is immediately saying easy way to start. But I imagine that is done by just focusing on Steven first. And grab the Villa Guard second, or don't, because there are plenty in the Villa. But Tyson second kill and Ludmilla third as the butler. I could see it end at the 5.5 minute mark, but it's definitely difficult to game. Not in a, or definitely in a match. So I guess it will be Tyson first for both of them. And Rupens had one wish for the spin to make it loadout heavy, and that is exactly what happened, because Saber is, if you want to be reasonable, it's from loadout, the shotgun as well. And where is the consume poison? I bring it in, but I'm sure there's at least one frog right behind the spire, yeah. So you could potentially do that. Also very important to note that because both of them started Villa staff, they do not have the opportunity to bring 2 large items, only one, and of course both of them brought the saber, which means that the kill will be loud shotgun. This is what Dane is working on right now, and pretty sure Chris will follow suit, take the free loud shotgun from this office after shooting that one camera. Not hurt by anyone, luckily. And back in the briefcase it goes, and I'm pretty sure for Dane... it's difficult because you wanna... Ooh, wow. That's a big choice by Dane, not going for the butler, not leaving the villa with him. Of course, gives it a much better window for both the Steven isolation and slash kill and the consume poison setup after, but will you get the butler in time? It seems a bit difficult to say at the moment, as Chris does what feels a bit more natural at the moment. Yeah, Rupen also says it could be a problem. Not for Chris though, because he is leaving as the butler. And well, the boat captain grab, I know you can do it 2 ways. The one I'm thinking of is just, of course, place the banana in this corner, which Dein Nomos is in, thank you. And of course you will always be able to just get back Butler later. But that's more of a suggestion for Chris, of course, since Dane doesn't have this other disguise here. Okay, Dane has boat captain and plenty of time to spare before... plenty of time to spare before the Steven kill. But he made the point to grab the second coin just in case. And of course Chris is gonna use the flash phone. The flash phone should kind of work now with the second placement, yes. And the banana will get the job done. Ooh, barely. And I saw some whooshes there, but it seems that Chris is secured as well. 3.5 minutes right now, that's plenty of time to get the Steven. We can see that it took 20 or so seconds to get the Steven on Dane's side, so it will be the same for Chris. Either gets there at the very end of the conversation or after Steven has started moving. But even if Steven moves, you can just place any items you want to just stop him for 1 second. But no issues on that front for Chris, because 4 of 7 gets the Seeker shot done. He will be just the second player to get the Steven kill, but of course you've seen that he has made some nice progress with Steven, and especially the butler disguise for Ludmilla. but even if all goes well,
That is Stephen Bradley.
that consume poison kill
Chief programmer
is
at
at a
Hitman
very
World
awkward
of
timing.
Assassination.
It's definitely about 5 minutes. 550 was my first guess. I'm just gonna check. Should be.
So, that's
Well,
Stephen
of course,
Bradley.
it depends on how many chefs you KO, but the regular timing should probably be 550.
Just one more target to go.
Question is what Chris will do. His last disguise is towards this side, but so is Ludmilla. Same Ludmilla who's reaching the kitchen right now. I don't have the knowledge whether you have any possibilities to reset Ludmilla. Of course, it being a mission story, if you leave Chef Rampart up, I believe he's the one to call Ludmilla, and he's the one to not taste the food, important. Then I guess it kind of works on a soft timer, but it's gonna get all awkward if Ludmilla is here for the entire knockout sequence. I think in the worst case scenario, you KO both chefs and you talk to Ludmilla either via the phone or just interact with her. It just won't be at the 550 timing, and we can see that Ludmilla is not coming inside yet, but I think even if she does, it's gonna work. It should work out from what I know. Yeah, Gary says you can also talk to her. So, one chef down for Chris, and actually Dane is not a lot behind. I thought it would be a bigger problem, but if he does the same, well, of course, if he does the same as Chris, then he loses the photo finish, but if he does roughly the same, then he's still in this spin with, of course, anything that can go wrong. Looks like Ludmilla is entering the kitchen for Dane. I don't know if that will change anything.
English-born former
Carrying both chefs is an absolute must though.
client handler for Hitman.
And of course poisoning the plate as one of them. Looks like Chris did all the setup and told Ludmilla to check out the food, and she's moving close to the food, so I have high hopes that this last kill will work. And one final, very random enforcer's dodge, but we are hoping for that picture to appear. Must be agonizing for Chris, but he's done the spin as well as possible. 7:13, not even that, 7:12 in-game time. Strong first try, under 8 minutes for spin this stuff. That's gonna beat a lot, if not all players currently. And he's shaking his head as if the map is finishing, but he's shaking his head because Ludmilla is leaving. He should become a chef to the same. I don't even know that phone call, but oh, of course, you can. You can call her to just make it a bit slower. Of course, if Chris had ripped, then Dane would be in with a shout as well. Sorry, but that was just played to perfection. Get bent, Lud consumed, says ChrisX3. Well, he has certainly defeated this condition. Let me see. Interacting just once. I think neither of them are affiliates, but just making sure, and I have sound on both, and we have reached this decider. One of these two players with a win will reach 4 points to tie Scruffy and the Reaper 47. With a tie, they will equal each other on 3.5 points. I'm sure some will have a better tiebreak, but for all intents and purposes, they will be tied. There are no rematches in the Swiss stage, so even if they tie, sorry, I hope they don't die. If they draw this match, they won't be playing each other next round. I don't want to suggest, but I believe Scruffy will play the Reaper 47 no matter what. And then these 3.5 point players will play someone with 3 points, but that's a cross that we only have to bridge, or a bridge we only have to cross to make it English. If these players tie this final man.
The note indicates that the box was given to Janus by the constant as per tradition.
Didn't even talk about
47.
stats here today. Just so many talking points regardless. 5 and 2 for Chris and 7 and 3 for Dane. Both, obviously both very established players with high win rates. I didn't, this map didn't strike as the best one for either of them, but as all-round solid ones. Chris's best map, well, it's New York, Miami, which are 100%, and then Mendoza, which is Mendoza and Marrakesh, 8 wins from 9 plays. So Whittleton is slightly behind, and for Dane, it's gotta be Mendoza, right? No, it's Berlin, Colorado, where he's unbeaten yet. Whittleton is his 10th best map, but who will be the best on this final spin of the match? Janus injected poison Exterminator, Nolan cast the Explosion Extent in the Arcane Robes. So Explosion Extent strikes again. It was a thing in Marrakesh. Well, yeah, Electrocution was a thing in Santa Fortuna, so not quite, but the second one here. Kind of making this spin a bit more open. A definite Exterminator start, and both seem to be going with a Nolan ISO first. I guess you can certainly do that, and I wonder if it will be followed by... It's probably a propane, never a canister, but you can't really set up Nolan, so it's difficult to argue that this is the best start for it, and it seems that neither will go for Nolan after all. Though in this case, no, I understand, I think, now, because you want to get these 2 clues to never be on this half of the map again. You just get the Janus skill at, I guess, downstairs at a minute 50. Grab a propane, go up to Arcane Robes and end the spin with a drive-by. It's one of those rare spins where you end on Nolan, but you don't emetic him, you don't isolate him, you just drive by and exit. Reaper says hopefully no insta-rip from drive-by in front of checkpoint. It's saddening to hear that thing. I suppose you can't get too close to that checkpoint guard who gets all kind of riled up if someone dies on his watch. I assume it's the Parkomatic checkpoint, but Reaper can confirm. So very interesting change between these 2 approaches. One, Dane does it all straightforward, gets the first kill at minute 55. All 3 clues down, and we'll now grab both an Arcane Robe and the propane. And Chris did mostly the same, but he's 1 clue behind. On the other hand, he has picked up a propane, but now he has missed. Wow, he did miss. Oh, wow. Oh no, wow, what's happening there from Chris? He locked onto Gunther. I have no idea if that's gonna be seen, and I think Chris isn't sure either, but because it's safe, he now can drag him away. And with the propane in hand, Chris has a huge asset. But of course it's very difficult to say, because I think Dane going for the robes is sensible, but it's gonna be now a bigger detour to get the propane flags behind the gardeners, and I don't see the agency pickup being any sort of canisters. So Chris also having to do the grab for the Arcane Robe, and you can't really transport the propane flask up there. I'm curious, but I guess it doesn't really matter. This is really difficult to call, and I don't see Dane having a propane flask still. I guess he's just hopping over some specific fences to make it as safe as possible to his journey around the map. But now Chris has both the disguise and the kill item with an insane whoosh, but stays concealed in the bushes. It's a huge save by him, and could be worth the entire point, because now he's certainly in the lead. 3.5 minutes. It won't be at the Parkomatic place anymore. It will be in front of the barbecue area. The bodies can start being found, but doesn't matter because that's 1 Trank and a poisoned Janus. Chris won't have forever though, because that body will be found and then the gun will be found and the gun will be brought to Janice's house. But I think for a Chris drive-by and a finish within 20 seconds, it could work out very well. Chris is very concerned about this explosion chain in that car as well. Oh, he doesn't have the taser, but, well, not quite a drive-by, but still a live poison kill. Chris will get the final kill of this match. And can Dane move the guard in time? It seems he can. No one else dies to it, so both players have the kill, and it looks like, with Dane also going to the correct exit, could be a 5, 7, even 9 or 10 second lead for Chris. It will be enough to win this match, but what a close final after this insanely close match. Final difference is 11 seconds. Yanni will tell us the specifics, and we'll work on the Dane single load as soon as possible. I don't see it being enough. It's PC versus PC. Dane is not known for having a strong PC, but also not a weak PC. So, I mean, it's 11 seconds from PC. It's never really a thing. Chris can go offline as the match is over. They can also go offline. And we will hear the final result. I think for Dane's sake, it's never fully needed to, like, you can wave, but why? The match is over anyway. It's just a little work for Yanni. I'm pretty sure it's a single load that will have to be calculated. Yeah, Chris says it's at least it's last map, so it doesn't matter, he close stream. He doesn't have to be live to receive the news of the match. Although, if he wanted, he could stay live and react to the match with a microphone on. That's pretty unlike Chris though. Jan is already typing. I know that some admins don't like to say it, but I do have to say something. I imagine it's because it's a single load. And Dane has waved. So I'm not sure which happened first, but Dane has waved and Jan is typing, so the two could be related as well. And Dane has loaded for 4 seconds. So that makes it obvious as well. And 4 seconds of load and 4 points on Dane's side, but 6 on ChrisX3 to win his 4th match and keeping Dane on 3. 4-0. Oh yeah, Chris is happy that he's 4-0, 4 wins and no losses. Nothing about the maps. But yeah, both players can be very happy with this result. I think this was, as expected, 2 players from the top 6 performing like they are top 6, and I'm not sure how the seeding will work out after this Swiss stage, but it's looking very likely that they will not only make it to the knockout stage, but have at least 1 win in them, if not more. They are still in the short list of tournament contenders, which obviously are led by Scruffy, but has a strong second field. I feel like like Scruffy is so dominant, he doesn't, like, he can always not win the tournament, but I think the big question this tournament is who will be the runner-up to him, or who will play the final against him. And obviously lots of weeks until that's decided. After Yanni updating the score, we can see that Reaper on 4 points, Scruffy on 4 points, and thanks to Buchholz of 1.9, Chris is currently 2nd overall in Roulette Rivals 16, the R6 finalist, looking to get another 2nd place or better, of course. And with his first loss, Dein Nomos is now 9th on 3 points and a 2.1 Buchholz. Of course, BH is the average of wins of everyone's opponents. So, and Chris has been outspoken for not having, well, having Shadow as one of the opponents, who's 49th and disqualified with half a point. So, Chris's tiebreaker will always suffer a bit. But ideally, Chris is basically through now already. And as for Dane, all he needs to do is win one of the remaining 2 rounds. Seems very much like a possibility here. If not, of course, both matches. Current schedule is pretty empty because we are ending round 4 currently. just 10 more minutes until Fujero versus some random person for the penultimate match. That is a 1 point versus 1 point player. The winner will stay in contention for the knockout stage. The loser will be mathematically eliminated. And Falcon versus Deadly Muffin Man is the final match. Falcon is on 0 and Muffin is on 0, but hopefully, well, if they finish map or 2, they will be fighting for their first win this tournament. So that's what we have for this evening, and in just a couple hours, round 5 matchups will be announced and the scheduling can begin for the penultimate round with more and more life or death matches. The beauty of this all new Swiss stage in Roulette Rivals. But yeah, with that, I would like to say thank you all for watching. GG's to both players. Thank you, of course, Joker for the backup admin for the one map, but Yanni most of all to adminning the most of this match. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, see you everyone.